2018, I was living in a house that I truly believed was haunted. I've always been a superstitious person, and I never doubted anything related to the supernatural. I never felt comfortable in that house. When night came and I was alone in any room, I felt a strange, heavy presence, like I was being watched. One night, a completely normal night, I got ready for bed like always. I said goodnight to my parents, lay down, and fell asleep almost immediately. Too fast, actually. Hours later, I woke up in the middle of the night drenched in sweat, my heart racing like I had just run a marathon. I couldn't remember the nightmare, but my body felt like it was still trapped in it. I got up, drank a glass of water, and went back to bed. But I couldn't fall asleep again. It felt like my body was trying to warn me, like something was coming. Something was getting closer. I turned on my side, facing the wall, trying to calm myself down. That's when it happened. Out of nowhere, I heard heavy footsteps, very heavy, running straight toward my bedroom. Before I could react, the door was slammed open with incredible force, like something huge had broken the lock in a single hit. I froze. My entire body locked up, and the only thought in my head was, this is it. Something really bad is about to happen to me. I squeezed my eyes shut, and then I felt it. Someone touched me, but it wasn't an adult. It felt small, light. The hands were cold, ice cold, moving across my arm, my neck, my face. It was crying, crying like a terrified child. The sobbing was loud, desperate, right next to my ear. It was screaming for help, begging. I don't know how I didn't have a heart attack. What made it even worse was the realization that came in the middle of the panic. Those heavy footsteps didn't match the body of a child. Somewhere in the distance, I could hear my parents yelling my name, telling me to get up, to do something. But I couldn't move. All I could do was keep my eyes shut and pray. And then, everything stopped. The crying, the screaming. My parents' voices. It all faded into a silence so deep it felt unreal. I was already crying. It took me about 15 minutes to finally open my eyes and sit up. When I looked around, everything was normal. Nothing was out of place. Nothing broken. A huge sense of relief washed over me, but my body was still shaking. I don't know how I managed to fall asleep after that. The next morning, I told my parents everything. They didn't believe me. They said it was just a dream. But I swear it wasn't. There were moments that night when I opened my eyes, just for a second, and I could still hear everything. The crying, the screams, the voices. They brushed it off. Today, I'm 15 years old. I was 9 when it happened, and I remember every detail. Even though they didn't believe me back then, my parents admit now that there was something wrong with that house. The neighborhood, the owners, the atmosphere, none of it felt right. And honestly, I don't think whatever was there ever wanted us to live in that place. In 2010, when I was only 3 years old, my grandmother passed away. Not long after that, my parents, my sister, and I went to stay at my grandfather's house for a few days. At that age, I was extremely attached to my mom. I followed her everywhere, never wanting to leave her side. And that's exactly why some memories from that house have never left me. They aren't complete memories. They're flashes, fragments, but they're incredibly clear. I remember walking through the house with my mother and seeing another version of her right behind us. A perfect copy. Wherever my mom went, that other one followed, always a few steps behind, silent, just watching. She never spoke. She didn't move in any strange way. She just followed. I couldn't tell which one was the real one. The only way I could tell them apart was by something simple. The color of the pajamas each one was wearing. Something so normal, and yet so wrong. I don't remember much beyond that. Just those figures moving through the house. Just that uneasy feeling. Even today, my eyes fill with tears when I try to talk about it. It's like something old is still trapped inside me. Years later, when I was older, I learned about the legend of doppelgangers. that's when those memories became even more disturbing. Suddenly, they made a kind of sense I didn't want to understand. My mom is a very spiritual person. She believes that what I saw was some kind of spirit trying to manifest itself. Maybe my grandmother, staying close to us after she passed. I don't know what to believe, I don't fully accept it, and I don't fully deny it either. All I know is that these memories exist, and even now, when I think about them, they still feel deeply unsettling. In 2023, I went through something that still makes me uncomfortable when I think about it. It was a case similar to other stories I had already heard, but this time, it happened to me. My sister, her girlfriend, and I went to the movie theater to watch a horror film. The movie was Talk to Me. From the very beginning, it already had me tense, and when it ended, I was genuinely scared. That kind of fear that sticks with you, even after the lights come back on. My mom didn't know I had gone to the movies. I had only told my dad. When I checked my phone, I saw messages from her on Snapchat, sent about an hour earlier. She was asking if everything was okay, and then she said something that made no sense at all. She said she had talked to me earlier that day. That immediately confused me. I had woken up late that morning. By the time I got up, my mom had already left for work. And before she came back home, I had already left to go to the mall. There was no moment when we could have crossed paths. Still, she insisted. She said she saw me in the kitchen, washing dishes. That she talked to me normally, but something felt off. According to her, I was saying strange things, answering in a way that didn't sound like me. She said the feeling was so uncomfortable that she walked away, thinking it was just her imagination. When I got home that night, my mom was in the living room. The moment she saw me, she completely froze. She just stared at me, silent, her face turning pale. After a few seconds, she said something that made my stomach drop. I was wearing the exact same clothes she swore I had been wearing earlier, when she talked to me in the kitchen. That night, I barely slept. Every time I closed my eyes, I thought about the movie, about how the main character dies and her soul ends up wandering through a hospital, unaware that she's already gone. And one thought wouldn't leave my mind. If I wasn't home that day, who was it that talked to my mother? When I was very young, I must have been 6 or 7 years old, I used to spend a lot of time at my grandmother's house. It was a familiar place, somewhere I felt safe. At least, that's what I thought. One day, I was lying on the bed in one of the bedrooms, facing the wall, not really doing anything. At some point, I felt something strange, like I was being watched. Something caught my attention. I turned my head toward the door, right at the foot of the bed. My sister's head was there. Just her head. It was peeking into the room through the doorway, standing still, her face partially lit by the hallway light. The rest of her body wasn't visible. At the time, it didn't seem strange to me. I thought she was just trying to scare me or mess with me. I said something to her. I think I complained and told her to get out of the room. As soon as I spoke, the head pulled back and disappeared quickly, as if she had obeyed. A few minutes later, my aunt and my grandmother, who were in the living room, came into the bedroom. They asked who I had been talking to. I told them I had been talking to my sister. They looked at each other. The mood changed instantly. They told me my sister wasn't there, that she had left the house a while ago, that it was just the three of us. When I explained what I had seen, their faces became serious, scared. The kind of expression that makes a child start to question what he just saw. I don't remember panicking at that moment. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. But honestly, I was scared, even if it was just a little. And to this day, when I remember that head appearing alone in the doorway, I still get chills.